Hey guys, so in this video we are going over 10 mistakes that a lot of Amazon FBA sellers unfortunately do. These are all things that I've experienced personally as well as through talking with other FBA business owners. Make sure you watch until the end as you don't want to miss any of these. The goal is to help you avoid making these mistakes, which is going to save you a lot of money. Let's get started. The first big mistake that a lot of Amazon FBA sellers make is not improving the product enough. This is a crucial thing that many people skip. And when this happens, you're basically going to be selling the same exact existing product as other competitors. Now, there's no problem with selling the same product as long as you do something to make it better. Think about it from a consumer standpoint, right? Let's say you have product A or you have product B. Product A had a head start and has 100 reviews. Product B, which is your product, just launched and has 0 reviews. Therefore, there's no incentive to buy yours versus theirs. You want to put yourself in your customer's shoes and think which one would they buy. Now, what can you do about this? One thing you can do is improve on the product. You're still selling essentially the same product, but you're making it better. And what I recommend doing is look at the product from a functional lens. What can you do to actually make it better? So go to Amazon.com, look up that product, and then look at the reviews on existing products. What you want to be looking for is customer feedback, right? If people have pain points that they are bringing up in their reviews. For example, if they're saying something like, this product is great, but I wish it had this or that. Doing this is like getting free market research, and I definitely recommend doing it. The second big mistake is that people don't treat their Amazon FBA business like a real business. You definitely will want to think of it as a business. Otherwise, how can a hobbyist compare with people putting their entire effort into building a successful Amazon business? There's no need to be full-time, but maybe at the start, devote a lot of your energy and resources into the business. That's greatly going to increase your chances of success. Now, for your business entity, you can actually start just as a sole proprietorship, meaning that there really is no need for you to go out there and get an LLC or an S Corp. You can actually start selling as an individual, and then later on, that's when you can move into the LLC or S Corp. Now, currently I do have an S Corp, and I do recommend that once you grow to a certain size, it should make sense to get an entity for liability protection as well as for tax benefits. If you have the funds and you want to go all in, just make that business entity right now. It's gonna save you some time in the future, and it's gonna make you treat it more like a business. It really is a mental thing. You'll also want to track your numbers, do proper bookkeeping, and do your due diligence. This is a really important concept because you want to run the business like your goal is to eventually sell it. And when you do sell it, your buyer is going to want to know everything on the back end. So that's why you should be tracking all your numbers right now, and it's also going to just help you make a more profitable store. Next big mistake I see is people that skip PPC. PPC stands for pay per click, and this is Amazon's ad program. Basically what happens is this. Let's say someone goes on Amazon and they search a keyword. They're gonna get a page full of different products. Amazon's PPC program lets you bid on these keywords and actually be shown at the top of the results. Either that, or when you're actually on the listing page of another product, they can actually show your product in the middle of the page. It's sort of like Facebook ads, except that it's on Amazon. And being in the e-commerce space for 5 years, ads are super important. You routinely see people selling all types of products using Facebook ads just based on interest, and those work extremely well. Now think about if people actually search a keyword related to your item and then you show up first. It's a very powerful tool, and it's helped a lot of business owners scale their Amazon products. Now, before you start on PPC, you definitely want to get a handful of reviews first. Otherwise, if you're shown at the top of the search results and you have no reviews, then your click-through rate as well as conversion rate is going to be extremely low. Now, going back to PPC, this requires you to spend at least $1 per day for your budget, and it really is quite easy to set up. Instead of getting charged for each purchase, they're actually going to charge you for each click. And you'll want to know the term ACOS, which stands for Advertising Cost of Sale. This is a very key metric to actually measure the performance of your ad campaign. To calculate it, it's your ad spend divided by the sales you get. So for example, let's say you have a 10% ACOS. That means that for every $1 you spend in ads, you're getting $10 in sales. What I personally recommend doing is starting with their automatic targeting. This means that they're going to test keywords for you, and then you can use that data to create a manual campaign. You'll want to tweak consistently to get your average cost of sale down. So yeah, definitely don't skip on using the pay-per-click ad program. The next big mistake is not finding the best supplier to work with. There are hundreds of thousands of suppliers out there, and not all of them are good. But luckily, there are platforms like Alibaba.com, which is an online platform that lets you properly vet suppliers from all over the world. I've used Alibaba.com to find every single supplier that I've ever worked with across Amazon FBA as well as all my other e-com brands. If that doesn't tell you something about how awesome this platform is, then I don't know what will. So yeah, it is definitely super important to find the best supplier to work with, as this will affect your communication and stress. We'll want a supplier that has good pricing, we'll want one that has the ability to meet your product demand, and we'll also want a supplier that has experience making your product as well as reliability. So I'm here on Alibaba.com's website, and let's say you found a product that you want to sell. Let's go with dog leashes, just something random I thought about right now. So I'll search dog leashes, or dog leash, and it's basically going to show me all the products that match my search term. You can see that right now there are 36,000 different results for dog leash, and basically I can go down here and look at all these results. But first, what I recommend doing is going to the left over here and actually doing a few things to sort these out. First one I want to do is trade assurance. I'm going to click that because you definitely want to work with a supplier that offers trade assurance. This is pretty much Alibaba.com's own escrow service, and what it does is it protects you when you make your purchases. They hold the money for you in their accounts, and then when the products are shipped out and then you actually receive them and approve how they are, that's when they will release the funds to the supplier. So it really holds everyone accountable and makes it a really safe buying experience. You can also select verified supplier here. This is not necessary, but it just means that it's been vetted by Alibaba.com as a verified supplier. And then yeah, it's updated my results, so now I can start looking at the different products that are showing up. Basically, you're going to want to find a product that matches what you want to sell. So after you've done your product research, you can come here and look for something that matches it. So let's say I want to do something like, let's say this one, all right? They actually have some reviews that people can leave, so you can see it's rated at 4.9. It's selling for $1.10 to $2 a piece. Now this price is not always completely accurate, so what I would do is actually message them, but we'll get into that later. And the first thing I'll do is I'll check the product images just to make sure that the product looks good, that the quality is there, and so on. Then I'm going to do my quick vetting, which makes sure that this company is going to be good to work with. So right here, you can see where this company is located. You can see how many years they've been in business, so 6 years. You can see that they have trade assurance, which is good. And their supplier online performance index is rated as a 4, which is quite good because it's out of 5. It also shows you the response time. So ideally you want this to be low because you want to work with a responsive manufacturer. It will also show how many transactions they've done in the last 6 months. So you can see that this one has done 258 transactions with orders totaling over $800,000. And they have a 95.1% on-time delivery rate. So this is all looking pretty good. What I can do now is actually come down here and look at the company highlights. It's going to give you an overview of this company. It'll tell you the supply ability, so how many pieces they can make per month. And yeah, sometimes they have videos showing you the actual factory, so that's always good to look at. And they'll have more pictures and information down here. I can also click on the supplier right here on the right, and it's going to take me to their company page. Here you can actually browse a bunch of other products that they make, or you can look at the profile of the company. So I'm going to come here to company overview, and I can just take a look at their overview. I can look at their production capacity. There's all this information here: quality control, R&D, trade capacity, business performance, and factory inspection reports. So let's say everything looks good. I'm going to create an account, then click contact supplier, and then message them. I recommend contacting at least 2 to 3 different suppliers for your product, so you can go back to your search results and look for another product that might be made by a different manufacturer. Do your proper vetting to make sure that they take trade assurance and whatever else, and then message them as well. That's basically how I vet my suppliers before working with them. And luckily that has meant that every single supplier I've ever worked with from Alibaba.com has been absolutely amazing. So yeah, definitely don't make the mistake of going with a supplier and not properly vetting them. The 5th big mistake that people make is forgetting that reviews matter. The number and quality of reviews you get for your product is really going to determine your success. But unfortunately for buyers on Amazon, it seems like only 1 to 3% of them are actually going to review your product. So that means that if you sell 100 units of your product, only about 1 to 3 of them are going to leave a review. So think about it from a customer's viewpoint, right? When you're searching for products to buy, you are going to tend to really prefer products that have a lot of reviews on it. Not only a lot of reviews, but a high rating. Social proof is extremely important for people that buy things online, and they're going to want to read reviews of actual buyers who are enjoying the product. So if you want your products to do well and you want to have a successful business, you're really going to want to speed this up. A lot of FBA sellers make the mistake of just letting the reviews come by themselves, and that's really not what you want to do. There are tons of services out there who can actually help you get these reviews. And basically what they're going to be doing is they're going to help you send out automated emails asking people for reviews when they buy it. Now you can use those types of services, or you can actually do this manually. This has worked extremely well for my products, and doing this should get you at least 2 to 3 times as many reviews as if you just didn't reach out to people. Because yeah, a lot of people are just gonna buy the product and forget about reviewing it, even if they really enjoy the product. When you do this, this is going to increase your ranking on the search page. It's going to increase your conversion rate of people actually purchasing the product. And yeah, I just think it has a huge impact on the performance of your product, and that's why you should definitely not make this mistake. The next big mistake, you guys, is ordering too much stock. This is a mistake that I've made multiple times, and it's extremely annoying. I've done this both on Amazon as well as my other e-com brands. When you're buying too much stock, you are taking on more risk than you need to. So especially for your first order, you're going to want to do a test run, and the number of units you buy really depends on the item specs, but I'd say for most people it's going to be between 100 to 300 units. You don't want to buy too little, otherwise you're going to be spending too much per unit, and you don't want to buy too high, or else what if you can't sell them? And another thing that people don't realize is that it costs money to store your products at Amazon's warehouses. Especially towards the end of the year, those holiday storage costs can get extremely expensive. So after your demand has been tested, do proper inventory planning. You want to buy enough stock at a time for maybe a few months. You don't want to store things for too long, and you don't want to be constantly buying products and paying for shipping costs all the time. When you order the right number of units for your inventory at a time, this is going to save you a ton of money. The next huge mistake, you guys, is forgetting to check to see if there is an active patent on the product you want to sell. Now, unfortunately, I have made this mistake, and one of the first products I sold on Amazon was actually a MacBook stand that had an active patent on it. I had no idea that there was an active patent. It sold pretty well, but after a while, the company saw that I was selling that same design, and they sent me a cease and desist letter. I still had a bunch of stock left, and this meant that I just could not sell it on Amazon anymore. So of course, that made it extremely difficult, and I lost a lot of money on that product. If you're selling a product that is sold by other people, make sure to check to see if there are any active patents on it. One tip I have is if you see one big company that came out with the product and is the main seller, then there might be a patent on it. And just because there are other people selling the same exact product doesn't mean that it's okay to sell. What I recommend doing is going onto Google Patents or whatever other patent search engine, and then search either the brand or a description of the item. By doing that, you can find if any existing patent is out there. If you want to really be sure, you can consult with an IP attorney just to be really safe. And I also recommend asking the manufacturer, because sometimes they'll have a patent themselves, or they'll have information about the design and actually know if it's still patented or not. But if you want to be really safe, you still need to do your own due diligence. So yeah, definitely don't make the mistake of selling anything that still has a patent on it. Next huge mistake that people make is not getting reimbursed for lost products or returns. Now with Amazon, there are a lot of mistakes that happen in their warehouses because, they manage millions of products. And when that happens, Amazon actually compensates sellers. So if you have lost or misplaced or damaged inventory, they're going to pay you back. If there are units missing from the shipment once they reach the warehouse, they're also going to reimburse you. This also applies to refunds and returns that might not have been properly reimbursed, as well as if you're paying the wrong FBA fees, and this generally happens if they get the dimensions of your product wrong, or they mess up the storage fees. So when this happens, Amazon owes you money, right? But it might be hard for you to spot. So you can actually learn to spot these reimbursements yourself, or you can hire an outside company to actually do that for you. And with those companies, they'll generally take a percentage of what they can recover for you. But yeah, definitely don't forget this one, because there's probably a lot of money you're owed if you've been selling on Amazon for a long time. The next huge mistake that people make is not optimizing their listing page. The reason why you want to optimize your listing page is to optimize your sales. So by getting your click-through rate and your conversion rate up, this is going to increase your sales, and that's going to help boost your rankings. This is super important to do, and a lot of people, they spend a lot of time doing the other stuff, but then they get lazy when it comes to this step. So something that's important is to get things to show up in search, you need to optimize your keywords. You'll want to make sure that all your relevant keywords are on the product page, and you'll also want to have the title be as descriptive and eye-catching as possible. To improve your CTR, your click-through rate, you're going to want to have a really great main image. It should be your product only, it should be on a white background, and the product should make up at least 85% of the frame. I definitely recommend hiring a professional photographer, especially if you're not too good at photography yourself, because this is extremely important for your CTR. To boost your conversion rate, you're gonna want better supporting images. So like I said, hiring a professional photographer, and you'll wanna get pictures that show the product in use, show it with accessories, and have text. You'll also wanna have a really great description with a lot of those keywords. And this is where copywriting is really important. You can hire this out or you can learn to do it yourself, but you guys, copywriting and all the text that's on this product description page is extremely important. When people ask questions, you'll want to make sure to answer them. And yeah, you guys, you'll just want to make this product page as good looking as possible. And you really need to sell your customer and get them to buy your product instead of all your competitors' products. And finally, guys, the 10th big mistake that a lot of people make is selling large and very expensive electronic products. When you're first starting out on Amazon FBA, your first products should not be big or expensive. You'll also want to avoid products that are fragile and also anything that would require a warranty. Think about like how bad would it be if you were selling headphones and they had some type of electrical issue that you did not know about, that the manufacturer didn't know about, and then all of them died after 6 months of use. That would be extremely bad. This product would essentially be dead and you might get hit with a lot of refunds. Yes, there's definitely more profit in expensive items, and there's probably also going to be less competition. But for the start, guys, don't do this. There's just way too much headache and way too much can go wrong. In the future, once you're a veteran at Amazon FBA, that's when you can start looking at these types of products. But yeah, for now, stick with products that cannot break and are very small and light. So yeah, those are some really big mistakes that a lot of Amazon FBA sellers make. And hopefully by watching this video, you won't make these mistakes. I want to leave you guys with a message, and that is to just go for it. Don't be scared and just don't be afraid of failing, because likely you're gonna fail at some products, but also you're likely to get some winning products as well. And really you just need 1 or 2 consistent products to make great income on Amazon FBA. I hope you guys got some value out of this video, and if you guys did, make sure to hit that like button or also subscribe to my channel to see more videos just like this. I make a ton of content about personal finance, investing, and entrepreneurship. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.